Joe Biden, Kamala Harris bumper sticker. You know what that means? There's probably an ignorant, brainwashed liberal driving the car with a mask. In 3, 2, 1, I was right!
Another day, another video. Welcome to the museum that showcases wokeness in all hues of delusion. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and definitely subscribe so you don't morph into a wokey. Okay, breathe in and let's do this.
You pick bear, why is that?
Because in some cases, the bear can be safer than the man.
So, what do you think the chances are that a man would opt to victimize you?
I would say probably like 40%.
40%. I got a question. So, if we go to any zoo in the world that has a bear enclosure, why are none of the women jumping into the enclosure to escape from the men? If me and Nick were the two men here in the studio, if we just transformed into bears right now, do you guys think you'd be safer? If you were in a bathroom, would you rather a man or a bear wanders in? If there was a bear in your home, would you call animal control? And a man would show up.
Potentially.
Yep. That's a good point. That's true.
All right, anyways, moving on.
It's funny.
Case closed.
A man would show up to take the bear.
Before you jump on the Miss Andrew wagon that is feminist TikTok, maybe do a little thinking. Just saying.
Palestine, Free Palestine, you you're ugly.
Ugh, moi, see you after jail.
Denying trans people life-saving care is a kind of rude thing to do.
Life-saving care?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so denying trans people their life-saving care is a rude thing to do.
Do you think it saves kids' lives to stop their bodies from going through puberty?
I think it does.
How come?
Because there's studies showing that, like, people who transition, who are pre-transitioning. How do I explain this?
It's okay, take your time. No pressure.
I don't want to have this conversation.
No. You're onto something. You want him to take it, or?
It's always the studies you can't make sense of, the friends you can't name, and the ridiculousness you can't seem to see. Anyway, walk away.
You've restarted,
let me
fair
just
enough.
stop you so you don't waste a line of questioning. I'm just giving you...
I love the mansplaining. I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining that's going on.
What
Just talking me through how by not answering the question, by repeating processes which are not related to the question that I've asked.
What's mansplaining, Senator?
Well, it's the slightly patronising and condescending way that you're responding to my questions.
Well, I would suggest, Senator, that if you're putting the word man in front of some description of what I'm doing...
Who doesn't love a good Uno reverse card?
So you would be okay with restricting freedom of speech? You would be okay with restricting or creating actually speech laws if that were voted on by the masses?
If the masses want it, absolutely.
Really?
Yes, I absolutely would.
I'm surprised, as when you say you're a PhD candidate, so you're obviously a very smart person, how you don't see the grave risk, just the unbelievable risk of violence associated with centralizing the power and who determines speech and what's permissible.
I simply ask you for the source.
Okay.
Can you give me the source?
Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Castro, Che Guevara regimes, current UK, Canada, Maoist China. Need I go on?
I'm just asking you to give me a scholarly source that says that.
Okay, I don't have a scholarly source with me right now saying that Nazi Germany is worse off with speech laws than the United States.
So
you asked me for sources. One country that has better net results for human freedom and human rights by restricting speech. What's your source? One.
PhD candidate who would vote to have the freedom to speak restricted in the free country, okay? But when you're asked to prove it, you're suddenly as silent as a graveyard? Cool.
Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable. But you're exercising your freedom of speech to certainly risk offending me. And that's fine. I think more power to you as far as I'm concerned.
You haven't sat there and... I'm just trying to work that out. I mean...
Ha, gotcha.
You have got me. I'm trying to work that through in my head. Yeah, it took a while.
It did, yeah.
Took a while.
The grass doesn't seem to be greener on the other side, does it? It's always empathy for your beliefs and wearing your own shoes. There's nothing to work through your head, ma'am. You got owned.
I don't like you. I think you spread hate. I think you spread bigotry. I think you piss a lot of people off because I mean, you're just an awful person. I don't think you really want to debate because you're just here to piss people off and energize your crowd of racists.
What have I ever said that's racist?
Oh, what?
Can you name one thing?
I'm Hispanic.
Can I support Charlie? Can you name
Does that mean anything?
Can you name a second thing I've ever said that's racist?
I think you're just trying to play a game, and I think this is obviously going to be used.
What have I ever said that's
I just
hateful?
want to hate you. You're awful. Get off my campus.
When have I ever said anything that's hateful? Have a nice day. He can't say anything I've ever said that's racist because I've never said anything that's racist. That is the American left in one picture, everybody. Lots of rage.
Couldn't have said it better, Charlie. Lots of rage and no wisdom.
I identify as a transgender woman. I identify as a woman.
So you're a biological male and you now identify as a woman.
My biology shouldn't matter to you because you have nothing to do with my biology.
So what about you makes you a woman?
Because that's how I feel the most comfortable.
So what
when you call me a male, then I feel uncomfortable. It's as simple as that.
And I'm asking what qualities make you a woman?
When you call me a woman, I feel comfortable. And then it's that simple. Would you like it if I called you a man?
No, because I'm not a man. Right. I am a woman. I was born with breasts and and I have XX chromosomes. Okay.
The only difference between you and me is the way we were born.
Exactly, and that difference will never change.
I actually have a question for you. You being an anthropologist, which anthropology is the study of human civilization, So if you were to dig up a human, two humans, and 100 years from now, both man and woman, could you tell the difference? Strictly off of bones.
Yeah, because there's a wide range
This woke anthropologist who heavily believes in social constructs somehow admits that the remains of people can be identified by gender. It's almost as if the facts have been right all along.
This woman goes on to say she was pretty happy that Planet Fitness cancelled her membership. As they say, Planet Fitness stands by a decision to allow men in women's locker rooms and warns members that their discomfort is not a reason to exclude transgender people. So in this woman's case, they stood by the guy in the women's locker rooms and they dealt with her by cancelling her membership. Crazy times, man.
Men and women equal. Actually, women are better than men. What do men bring to the world? Literally nothing. Women, the vibes, just everything.
Everything you know and love. If you look around the entire infrastructure of our nation, our economy, every building you walk into, the way that you are portraying your ideas and opinions is through technology and infrastructure and an economy and a nation that was not only built, but it's still maintained to this day by men.
Did men allow you to have that haircut?
You taking personal attacks makes me seem like the more intelligent.
Okay, I understand.
Validate your point, not some personal attack because it's confusing. It's an argument. Feminism stops whenever it's inconvenient for y'all. By definition, you are delusional and you cannot defend your ideas.
If you have a point, make it. If not, don't even start the argument.
So then should go to prison?
I do not know what's the best way to handle because how do we know? I don't think that anyone should the child, God forbid.
But hold on.
I really don't.
Why shouldn't a go to prison?
What?
Is wrong?
Yeah, I consider to be wrong because it is actively damaging someone else, right?
But what if they say they're a minor person and it's pro-social to be with a young person? Why are they wrong?
Do you know what pro-social means? Like, pro-social means, there's like pro-social and antisocial behaviors. It's like a theory of social psychology. Pro-social generally means like working together, socialization,
No, they're socializing with an 8-year-old. Why is that wrong?
Okay, that's not socializing and you know it. Antisocial behavior usually means doing things that are considered rejecting socialization, like rejecting other people, pushing things away, promoting things that other people actively end up considering less.
Blah, blah, blah. Words upon words without the tiniest coherence. If you cannot blatantly call out a wrong, you just know you're far gone.
Why don't we like the patriarchy? Because the patriarchy. Why?
Because it makes it so much harder to exist and just like have equal rights, and it just that.
So do you think women have it like harder in society?
Yes, definitely.
Do you think men at all face any hardships at all, or is it really just like an attack on women in our society?
Well, I feel like they're really expected to be the breadwinners all the time.
Do you like that or not like that?
I personally like that because I wouldn't mind not working in the future. So
in the future, you want to be a mom?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, you want to be a wife?
Yes.
What does that look like for you if we don't like the patriarchy?
Ha! Another woman echoing words she has no idea about.
Do you think kids should be able to change their gender?
Yeah, I think gender is a social construct, man. If you want to bind or whatever, do it, man. Whatever makes you feel like you. Gender dysphoria it's dangerous and it's difficult. I'd rather these kids stay alive and they express themselves.
Rather than getting a surgery to fix gender dysphoria, which can't go back, why not just get like mental health assistance?
Couldn't agree more. Now that's a person with a brain.
Does height matter?
Of course it does.
Step on the scale.
I'm not going on a scale. You should love a girl for who they are.
You should love a guy for who they are, regardless of height.
That's true.
So take it back then.
I'm not taking it back. But
and step on the scale.
No.
You're being a coward.
Weight, you're ridiculous. And
if you care about height, you're ridiculous.
But you don't need to know an exact number.
You don't need to know an exact height.
All you gotta know is that they're taller than me, and that's it.
Okay, I want you to be lighter than me. Step on the scale.
No.
Okay, she said height was important for her, but somehow weight is ridiculous. To each his own, but don't get upset when people want their version of your preferences.
What we do is we annualise our figure to full-time. So we look at all part-time employees and full-time employees that may have worked part of a 12-month period, and we annualise that data to take into account part-time hours. So therefore we're converting the part-time hours to full-time, if you like.
So do you take into account the fact that on average a male full-time employee works longer hours than a female full-time employee?
Hold on, she's trying to do what?
3 out of my 4 children are trans. They're all part of the LGBT. 4 out of 4? Yeah. Oh, Sam. Are trans, they're part of the LGBTQ community.
The chance you have a trans kid is 1 in 3,000. So the joint probability that you have a trans kid and a pansexual kid is 1 in 9 million. The odds that you're a pathological narcissist sacrificing your own children to the glorification of your compassion is 8,999,999 to 1.
Statistics and truth, the best combo there is.
Talk to me about some of the privileges that white men are awarded that you guys are not awarded.
Definitely, like, I guess just getting away with situations. Like, if I were to, like, I don't know, like, I guess.
Or they just don't exist, dear. Maybe it's all in your head. Maybe you've been trained to think that way.
Google right now, can you do IVF without a man? Go ahead.
And so your argument is you don't need a man at all.
You do not. You do not need a man to have a baby. What year are you living in? What year are you living in?
At any stage. There's no sperm that's involved.
No. You can have a baby without a man. You can
no sperm.
You can educate yourself right now and look that up.
Sperm.
But you're refusing.
And no sperm.
You can literally look that up right now. You're more worried about laughing in your camera and recording me than doing a quick Google search to educate yourself.
So why don't you inform me?
I did.
No. Don't say Google
You can
it.
take 2 eggs in IVF and make a baby. You can gladly Google that, but you don't want to. None of you have done it.
Wow, biology has been taking such a hit from these wackos. What else would you expect from a sect who believes that chromosomes do not matter?
Pourquoi vous me cassez les couilles ici là? Putain! J'ai dit gauche, j'habite à côté, bordel de merde! C'est gauche, vous merde! Allez-y! Premier qui bouge l'encul! Premier qui bouge l'encul! Vas-y! Premier qui bouge l'encul! Premier qui bouge l'encul, je m'en bats les couilles! Le premier qui revient, je m'en c'est pas des ridicules! C'est bon, connard! Et tu sais, ça se fait un diable toi aussi! Fais chier! On travaille nous aussi. On a des familles. Allez, nous aussi, je travaille. Je suis agriculteur. Laissez passer là maintenant. Il y en a qui poussent le lit. Il y en a qui poussent le lit. Voici qui travaille. C'est spectaculaire. Compte de blaireau. Levez-vous, c'est blaireau.
If you are bent on bothering innocent citizens, those citizens are allowed to drag you off the streets. It should be in the rule of law.
I first want to thank you for coming out. I've really enjoyed listening to you speak. I am against your personal beliefs and whatever. I wanted to ask, because you're, talking about how we shouldn't trust the government, we shouldn't trust all these people, and I'm curious because I noticed in your speech, when you're speaking, you commit a lot of logical fallacies. And I can give you some examples such as composition, division, ad hominems, and, many, many others. And I learned about these in my rhetoric class because my class, which was very, very Republican driven.
I think we have a lot of people that are waiting.
Yeah, of course, no problem. I just want to say, why should we trust you? What's the point if you're going to commit all these fallacies? Why should we believe in you specifically?
Okay, well, if you think that anything that I have said today, just try to stick to the facts and don't focus too much on what you perceive to be logical fallacies. Just go look up Margaret Sanger, go look up Lyndon Baines Johnson, go look up the things that I'm telling you, and let me tell you that if you look that up and what you find out is that I completely lied today, then you shouldn't trust me. The reason why I'm standing up here is because I'm confident that I am sharing with people the truth. The reason why I'm still up here, by the way, despite the fact that the entire media, an entire Democratic establishment, an entire BLM nation that was built overnight has been against me, the reason why my audience continues to grow is because when you are for truth and you are for God, who can be against you? You're gonna win. Thank you for your question.
You learnt big words last week, so you're going to just yap for a minute? Looks like the gotcha she planned was just played on her.
Hey, sir. What do you think about abortion?
It's good. I mean, if the woman wants to do it, then she should do it.
Okay.
The man shouldn't have control over what she does.
Okay. Would you say?
Tupac said, if a man can't make one, why does he decide when and where to create one?
Okay, but that's not really what we're talking about, right? It's not about creating one. With abortion, we're talking about once they're already created, is it okay to kill them? Would you say the preborn are humans? Like, are they the same species as we are?
Yeah, because they're still, when they come out, they're going to be humans.
Yeah. So if these are humans, they haven't done anything wrong, do you think it's ever okay to kill an innocent human? No. So if that's the case, would abortion ever be justified?
Let's hope he went home and actually thought about this.
I wanted to ask you about Israel. There's two main reasons why I think America should be spending money and keep funding
Should or
Israel.
should not?
Should. The first is that Israel is on the forefront of technology, especially with the military, since they are constantly at war and they are constantly developing new technologies that America might need in the future with Russia or China or future wars that could happen. And the second is that they are a huge, in-between for America and the extreme Islamists that are working to undermine Western values. And the way I see it is that if Israel falls, God forbid, then America will be next. Instead of Iran funding Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis in Yemen, they will be attacking America directly. And that's why I think Israel should be supported by America. And I think that the idea that we shouldn't be engaging at all in foreign politics is a very isolationist concept that isn't rooted in the real world and how we need to operate as a country.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So the first thing that I would say to you is, yes, you're right. Israel has a ton of technology. Who paid for it? I'm wondering if, we spent our money here, could we have the same technology? Could we also have the thing that captures missiles, right? The thing that we keep paying for? I mean, I just am asking the question, if we stop sending our money overseas to build up other nations, I would imagine that we could maybe fund our own technology here. Second thing is you said that, you know, if Israel wasn't there, America would collapse.
How do you have a plank in your eye and your neighbor has a stick in theirs, so you try to take out their stick first? For walkies who are obsessed with people minding their business, that belief is only valid when you want it.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that. So
it is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by prison or death.
Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people. Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware.
No, not just that. You do not know anything. Before you design posters, use hashtags, and bully your own fellow citizens, please use Google.
There is a playground where they say white families not allowed. Would you support that?
That seems like a ridiculous edge case.
Would you say that black-only dormitories is wrong?
It certainly creates a sense of community. I don't see any problem with that. We have sororities, we have male-only dorms.
Why would we have different dormitories for races?
Culture.
Segregation is what you're arguing for, my friend. Do you support white-only dormitories?
Everybody has a choice.
I think white-only and black-only anything is evil and wrong. That's why I hate critical theory and critical race theory, because when it's put in practice, you start to discriminate people based on race.
Your face is small.
They always go to insults when they lose the argument. God bless you, my friend.
The only reason he thinks that is because he has been fed that. There is no way you think a race-based playground is different from a race-based dormitory. I wonder if his mother taught him to be quiet if he has nothing nice to say.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so
Sure.
I'm going to answer
Please
for you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No.
Wait,
We're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
So now you've asked me a question.
Sure.
And I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
Well, who is the main character? What's the name of the main character in All Boys Are Blue?
You're asking me right now.
You just gave me very specific information about this book, so you're presenting yourself as somebody expert.
It's the gentleman.
Hold on. Who's the main character of the book?
The main character is the author.
What's his name?
George, I believe is his first name.
Because you're giving me very specific information that is.
You're asking me to remember the name of an author.
You
the
just
name
remembered
of the author
very
doesn't
specific.
Joy.
Here's my question.
We're talking about
Here's my question.
You didn't answer my question.
No. I'm going to answer.
Great. I would love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm interviewing you, and you're not interviewing me. So let's just make sure it's a conversation.
Okay, great.
So what I'm saying to you is that as you are not an expert in this book,
I don't have to be an expert.
No. Hold on a second.
Dildos aren't appropriate for public school.
This mother went on an interview after openly condemning a graphic children's book that she believes shouldn't be in schools nor read by children. But this interviewer only wants expert opinions? Expert opinions of pervertness and inappropriate children exposure. She must have been expecting a minor attracted person to share in her delusion.
My body! My body! My body!
Would you be okay with a mother taking drugs and drinking alcohol while pregnant?
Of course not, but that's not the point.
Not her body, not her choice, I guess.
Look, I've got a question for you.
You are contradicting yourself by saying she can't drink alcohol and take drugs. Why not?
Because it's medically proven that it can affect the baby.
What does abortion do? Kill the baby.
So now it's a baby. Okay, let's recap. You can take the life of a baby, but you can't affect the baby's health. She's so fluent in foolishness.
This is my voice 1 day on estrogen. This is my voice 1 week on estrogen. This is my voice 1 month on estrogen. This is my voice 1 year on estrogen.
Bro, did your voice get deeper? Man, biology is a
This person decided to document his journey with estrogen. He must have been hoping to sound like Barbie, but biology said he was getting beast.
I'm wondering, there are dozens of words for two-spirited people, people that would now be considered LGBTQ or trans people in the native languages. So I'd like to know how, as these people have existed for thousands of years before you were alive or anyone else in this room was alive, and before anyone even colonized America, if trans people were around then, I'm just wondering why you think it is that trans people are only here now because the media is telling people these things.
Well, do you think it's weird that I graduated with 0 trans people? What do you think has contributed to the explosion of transgender people from the time that I was in high school? I'll ask you a question back. If this was just a natural thing, and I don't know what you're talking about with Two-Spirit people, is this like a Native American tribe, like high, smoking, and talking about your spirit? I'm asking you seriously, because when I think of Native American tribes talking about their spirits, I know that they used to smoke a lot, they used to do drugs, they also were cannibals who used to eat people, so I don't know if we should be taking our cues from cannibals. But
I think
can you
that's
explain
kind
to me
of
what
ridiculous.
Two-Spirit is in the history?
There are people that would now be considered trans people that did not feel that they fit
What
the
part,
binary
though?
gender.
Native Americans? I'm asking you.
Yes, I'm telling you that not only in one Native American tribe, but in multiple tribes, there were dozens of terms that referred to people that would now be considered trans, and that was hundreds of years ago. So I'm just wondering why you think that people are only trans now because the media is telling them to be.
Well, I told you, because of the proliferation. So you can't just go from having 0% to suddenly 25%
But what
of
I'm
people.
saying is that these people were around for thousands of years.
Okay, what history book are we reading? Want to bet that some LGBTQ mafia posted it on a colorful website to affirm their insanity. We've been here as long as cis people. The headline probably read.
Believe in big government, right? I believe
You don't.
no government.
No government.
Little
So you're an
government.
anarchist.
Yes. I believe in voluntary hierarchy and democracy.
What's preventing you from doing what the Amish do? Get off the grid and just go live like that right now.
Well, the Amish are religiously excluded.
No, forget the religious component.
well,
but
because
the
it's
Amish are a great example.
Incredibly difficult to just pick up everything that you have, leave, and go into.
So you want to tell me how to live?
What I'm saying is that there are people that are literally starving, and that if you had extra houses and they literally just came and occupied the houses that you are not using, they are justified because you are being a massive asshole.
If someone forcefully takes away something that is sedentary, not being used in that purpose, it is a rightful means of theft.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you don't believe in private property rights?
No, I do not.
You don't believe in private property rights, so we're getting somewhere. So you're not a libertarian, my friend. Libertarians believe...
I'm not a libertarian in the American... I'm not a libertarian in the capitalist sense. I'm not a libertarian in the American sense.
So stop using the word, because you're anything but it.
Theft is justified. He looks like the kind of a person who would pull a hunting gun if a person stays too long on his lawn, but richer people should not care about their properties being stolen. Okay?
Anyone here feel that what they're doing right now is derailing them from being with the person they're supposed to be with in the end, and the life that they're supposed to end up with?
It reminds me of people who say, hey man, why can't I just have like a deathbed confession? You know, I live it up, man, I go to Vegas, I do all sorts of crazy stuff, and on my deathbed, which I may or may not get, I'll just convert and then I go to heaven. That'll be really great, right? And look, maybe, but really what happens is people tend to just keep going down the roads that they're on, and the habits that they cultivate become the habits that define their lives, whether it's virtue or vice. And I just think if you believe you're going to keep doing this, and then one day at 34 and a half, you're going to wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to do something totally different now and get Mr. Right, who's not addicted to porn, and get 2 kids and millions of dollars. I just think that's very, very unlikely.
I think it's more likely that all of us are going to find like some hot rich guy to marry and take care of us than to like be single for the rest of our lives.
Wanna bet? We would see who's making things I didn't know in my 20s, but I do now, videos on YouTube in a decade.
Degree level is an honorary doctorate degree from Liberty University.
No, that's true. I do have an honorary PhD.
Yeah. So essentially, what are your qualifications for arguing that college is a scam, or really having any economical knowledge at all, when likely the vast majority of the students here know more than you about economics as a whole?
Okay, so, no, hold on. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Who's Milton Friedman?
Who is Milton Friedman? I have no idea, and it's not important to this conversation.
Who is Ludwig von Mises?
These are all probably economists, and they're the same
who
thing.
is John Maynard Keynes?
Okay, obviously I know who Keynes is.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
He's the most famous economist of all time.
You don't know Milton Friedman?
I mean, that's an economist.
Okay, how about Murray Rothbard?
That's another economist.
F.A. Hayek?
I don't know who that is.
Well, then you just came here and insulted my intelligence. You're right, I barely made it through community college because I was too busy, I don't know, starting a national youth movement with hundreds of thousands of members.
Hey, hold on though, hold on.
So this student is convinced that attending a college automatically equals being intelligent, and of course vice versa. Doesn't seem like it now, does it?
You asked what are my qualifications. I'm a job creator, entrepreneur, autodidact. Do you know what that word means? Yeah, self-taught. You know, you should probably learn that word if you're going to come up and insult other people's intelligence.
Owned, but upon that loss, he pulled the basic card, race.
What evidence do you have that I'm a racist?
I was just literally watching a video of you talking about whiteness as a whole, talking about whiteness as a concept, okay? And you were trying to explain how white privilege doesn't exist.
Correct, it doesn't.
You are a white man, how do you know?
Because I have eyes.
Because you have eyes. That's not a description.
Reason. So what can a black person do that I can't do in America? Or
what can a black
versa?
person do?
What can I do a black person can't do?
Let's think of some history right here. Let's go through the history of redlining.
I don't need a history. I don't need listen. No, you're talking about white privilege.
You do need a history lining. Clearly, you need a history lesson.
I know your talking points better than you do, and I've read all the literature that you have. I've probably forgotten more about the literature.
History affects the present day as well, and you know that's true. If you went to college, you would know.
Well, hold on a second, but let me.
So then why are you wearing the college as a scam shirt? Drop out.
Well, because you could.
It's because you don't believe your own beliefs, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, you can admit something's a scam and still get through it. That's why he's wearing it. Okay.
Why?
You could feel like you're getting ripped off by an airline and still want to get to New York.
That's not what we're talking about anymore.
You're like, I'm getting ripped off by a $1,000 ticket, but you still get on the airplane. Like, it doesn't make you a hypocrite. It means that the people are ripping you off, and a lot of you are getting ripped off. But no, so as far as white privilege, just without the history lesson of, Jim Crow, segregation, imperialism, colonialism, slavery, all the stuff that I know that you're going to say, but just concretely in America today, what can a white person do that a black person can't do?
Black applicants to jobs are 50% less likely to get jobs whether they have a black sounding.
Okay, watch this.
My name's Keemon Dixon. I have a really black name. Please tell me how 50% of my internships have been denied when I've worked for Senator Mike Lee, Mayor Trent Sachs, Speaker Mike Schultz.
Hold on.
I worked for a congressman, Burgess Owens. I've actually worked on his campaign. I've worked on the campaigns of John Huntsman Jr. Please tell me how my black experience and my black name has not given me shit. Go ahead.
And that's how you own a wokie.
Voter ID laws are racist?
I think so.
Most of the motivation behind them being put into place is rooted in racism.
I think voter ID laws are inherently discriminatory. When you look, the vast majority of people who do not currently have IDs are people of color.
Do you have an ID?
Absolutely.
Can you show us?
Yeah.
What do you have to say to all the people that say black Americans can't get voter ID?
I don't even know why they would say that. We can get the same things that every other American can get. That doesn't even make sense to me.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe the actual racists are the ones who mentally limit certain groups of people.
Middle School. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. I never thought that the shirt I wore to school on March 21st would lead me to speak with you today. On that Tuesday morning, I was taken out of gym class to sit down with two adults for what turned out to be a very uncomfortable talk. I was told that people were complaining about the words on my shirt, that my shirt was making some students feel unsafe. Yes, words on a shirt made people feel unsafe. They told me that I wasn't in trouble, but it sure felt like I was. I was told that I would need to remove my shirt before I could return to class. When I nicely told them that I didn't want to do that, they called my father. Thankfully, my dad supported my decisions and came to pick me up. What did my shirt say? 5 simple words. There are only 2 genders. Nothing harmful, nothing threatening, just a statement I believe to be a fact. I have been told that my shirt was targeting a protected class. Who is this protected class? Are their feelings more important than my rights? I don't complain when I see pride flags and diversity posters hung throughout the school. Do you know why? Because others have a right to their beliefs just as I do. Not one person, staff, or student told me that they were bothered by what I was wearing. Actually, just the opposite. Several kids told me that they supported my actions and that they wanted one too. I was told that the shirt was a disruption to learning. No one got up and stormed out of class. No one burst into tears. I'm sure I would have noticed if they had. I experienced disruptions to my learning every day. Kids acting out in class are a disruption, yet nothing is done. Why do the rules apply to one yet not another? I feel like these adults were telling me that it wasn't okay for me to have an opposing view. Their arguments were weak, in my opinion. I didn't go to school that day to hurt feelings or cause trouble. I have learned a lot from this experience. I learned that a lot of other students share my view. I learned that adults don't always do the right thing or make the right decisions. I know that I have a right to wear a shirt with those 5 words. Even at 12 years old, I have my own political opinions, and I have a right to express those opinions. Even at school, this right is called the First Amendment to the Constitution. My hope in being here tonight is to bring the school committee's attention to this issue. I hope that you will speak up for the rest of us so we can express ourselves without being pulled out of class. Next time it may not only be me, there might be more students that decide to speak out. Thank you for your time and good night.
This young man and his family have now sued the school for discrimination amongst other things. If one group gets free speech, the other should too. That is democracy. That is freedom. That should be America.
Say he's black, but he has a white parent and a black parent.
He's half and half.
They want to keep the white primacy pure for him. So they want to say that he's black.
I honestly haven't thought very deeply about the racial composition.
If you get a pizza from Domino's, okay?
This should probably stop.
This is relative, unlike you. Trust me.
Oh,
so
trust you? Okay.
If you get a half pepperoni and half cheese pizza, it's not a cheese pizza.
Cool. Like I said, half white, half black, half cheese, half pepperoni. What's the point? Where are you getting at?
Why is everybody laughing at me?
Okay, Missouri State starting strong, everybody. I gotta tell you. Please, don't do drugs, guys.
Don't do drugs, guys. Okay, breathe out now, it's over. If you are ever in the mood to shake your head at delusional wokies, just hit that subscribe button. Until then, please stay unwoke.